The Joe Rogan Experience.
There's 9 left.
Oh, wow.
1 in Puerto Rico, 8 in mainland.
Interesting. We should take a road trip just to go to a Sears.
We should go to the one in Puerto Rico.
We should bring Tony.
Let's bring Tony. That'd be amazing. First of all, Puerto Ricans were not upset by that. I mean, I'm sure some were, but like my friends were like, I'm still voting for Trump. They
Puerto Ricans can take a joke.
Yes.
They're some of the best shit talkers on earth.
Absolutely.
It's common in Puerto Rican communities, just have fun and joke.
Absolutely.
It's not a super sensitive neighborhood. It's a super sensitive ethnic group.
No, but most people didn't care. They're like, I don't care.
It was a stupid thing to do it there, but it turned him into a legend. As long as Trump won. If Trump didn't win, we were going to have to hide him.
For real.
Yeah, I was going to hide him. I was going to move him to Thailand or something.
To Thailand?
Yeah, he's got to get out of the United States for a while.
For how long, though?
A while, depending on how bad sideways things go. If Kamala Harris becomes president, the deep state take over and they completely censor all social media, remove everybody's guns, force vaccinations on all your babies, everybody gets a sex change. Who knows?
He's just in Thailand.
And he's in Thailand.
With ladyboys.
Just drinking his life away because he can't believe he fucked it up for one shitty laugh.
He could go live in Puerto Rico.
You know, there were stories that were ready to be published if Trump lost, blaming it on Tony.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Blaming it on that one joke in Madison Square Garden, where the facts is, and Tony will tell you, actually, Puerto Ricans voted 26% more for Trump, which is true.
They probably did.
Than ever before. Yeah. Well, people were fucking fed up. People were fed up.
I didn't even vote.
None of this makes any sense.
I mean, I think, honestly, most people right now, their main concern is like they can't even afford groceries.
Exactly.
So they're like, whoever I think is going to help me with that. Well, listen, I don't know what is true or not true, but like people who are like, I can't afford to feed my kids.
It is so crazy. I was watching this guy on MSNBC, and he was dismissing that in terms of like when people think a certain way, like people have like if they're a leftist or if they're a fundamentalist Christian. They have one thing in common, and that thing that they have in common is they want everyone to think like them.
Sure.
And this guy was saying that about like young people listening to podcasts and they're getting, air quotes, radicalized, and that we need something that can do this from a feminist perspective and teach young men feminism. The whole thing was so strange, but one of the things that he said that was the most strange, he said instead of like these minor grievances like the price of eggs or someone is teaching you your kid something in history that you don't agree with, instead of those minor things, like what's major then, man? Food for kids,
also like
food for your
history
family,
is just history,
and history. Well, you know, he said something you don't agree with, like what I don't know what that means, but education is primary. It's one of the most important things for kids. You got to for their view of the world, they have to be correctly informed. It really helps if you have a good education.
Sure.
And then if you have food, if you can afford eggs, that really fucking helps. And so this idea that these are minor issues and the important issue is connecting men to feminism.
Listen, you can do that if you want, but like most people right now are like, I can't afford to pay for groceries for my kids. I don't even have kids, but like people are like, I can't afford to buy groceries.
Of course.
People who are making more money now are like, I can't save any money.
Yes. Everything's more expensive. People are fucking out of touch. I'm clearly out of touch. Clearly. But I remember when I was poor. I understand it. I really do. And I know what the fuck is going on. And I know people are saying, hey, this isn't a minor deal. This is like one of the biggest deals. You guys fucked up the economy, and you're gaslighting everybody and telling everybody you didn't. You guys have spent billions of dollars on a war that nobody agrees with, hundreds of billions, and you're gaslighting us.
Yeah, I just also like these teachers that are just like spending all their own money for supplies. It's like, what are you doing?
Crazy.
Why do teachers not have supplies for kids?
Right.
And you're right. They are the future generation. So if they don't have food and they're not like being instructed in, you know, learning stuff, and you have these schools where there's so many kids to one teacher.
The United States is like someone who owes you money and they say they don't have it and they keep buying cars.
Right.
That's what it's like.
It's
like, how did you have the money to spend all this money on another country when you don't have any money to spend on the education of kids?
I mean, homelessness, the veterans.
Okay, let's just pick education. Like, how much could they fix education with $175 billion?
You shouldn't have a teacher that needs to buy supplies.
Right. And imagine this. Imagine if companies were incentivized. Like, what if they got government grants based on how well the kids performed in the school districts?
That would be
like,
great.
Yeah, like literally make it like Halliburton for schools. Like, Halliburton, they blew up Iraq. Halliburton comes in and cleans everything up. Have something that profits off these places getting better. And the better they do in terms of dropping in crime, education rates, graduation rates, college rates, everybody gets more money. Figure that out. Figure that out.
I mean, they just want more money for prisons.
They do that too. That's true.
Because if you don't spend it on education, then you could just have these people have to turn to crime and put them in prisons, and that's how you'll get money.
There's a bunch of things they did in the 80s that still fuck with us today, and that's one of them. That's a big one. Then the 80s, it must have been so wild because there's no computers, and it's just like TV and the newspaper, and everyone's running wild, and Reagan's the president, so nobody thinks anything's real. You got a fucking movie star as the president. JFK's dead. Nobody still understands that one.
Was Reagan's wife the one that was called the throat goat?
Allegedly. Yes.
Give her flowers. I think she is the throat goat.
I mean, you could bestow that upon someone to besmirk their memory. You could do that. It's hard to say.
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
But also the kind of gal that can capture up a president probably knows how to get things done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
That's not
imagine.
necessarily a bad thing. Good for her.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, every guy would agree.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a good skill for a lady to have.